Okay, Lyon Rock Café, today we have another important guest at our show. One of the most powerful voice of heavy metal and great stage persona, stage presence. What about what about RALF SCHEEPERS? Am I right with the pronunciation?
RALF SCHEEPERS, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, Scheepers, the double E is always in English, an E.
Ah,
so
okay.
that's
Perfect.
okay. Thank you very much for your words.
No, it's the least that I can say. Many things to say about your Primal Fear band. You got some news. I know about it. So we will talk about it later, a little bit later. Because at start, I would like to ask you if you want to recall something about your beginning, how you approach heavy metal, how did you start to sing heavy metal with your first band, Tyrant Pace, and then. We know that you joined Kai Hansen in, of course, in Gamma Ray, in the first part of the career of Gamma Ray. So I would like that you say something about it, about all these bands that have the pleasure to have your big voice.
Thank you very much again. So yes, it started early when I was in school still, and I sung along to my mom's radio, even to the German Schlager music. And I sung already harmonies in my age of whatever, 9 or so, 8 or 9. And I found out, well, it doesn't sound so bad, but didn't care about it. So I was much more into football, into soccer, like every boy in that age. When 1974, the first World Championship as a child, which I really knew what's happening.
You're still a sportive guy, I guess.
Yes, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, so I started to sing along in the radio, but later in school, in mid-school actually, the first music teachers also gave me good grades for my singing in school, so some people who were interested into making music, we started a band. So it was the first school band, the first little tiny baby steps into live music, which was totally far away from what came later, of course, but that's how everybody starts in the end. We did not start with computers and PC producing music. We started really handcrafted with cheap guitars, cheap drums, and cheap microphones, and also cheap voice at the time. But it all developed. So to your question, the bands influenced me, like The Sweet, for instance, and I would admit also ABBA, which was pop music, but it was so much already, melody-wise and choir-wise and harmony-wise going on. It sounded really interesting, and we knew what happened with ABBA, right? So these two bands, and pretty much more later, like AC/DC, of course, as well, and Kiss and so forth. Then the new wave of British heavy metal started for me with the Scorpions in Germany. This is German, not British heavy metal. But then, of course, Saxon, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. That was my time when I was 16 already, and when I really started to sing more properly, like metal style. And that's somehow when also the other bands started. Like in Stuttgart, we had Beast of Prey, and then we had Tyrant Pace here in my hometown, and they wanted me as a singer later because they found out, this guy sounds great, whatever. I'm always critical about my voice. I never really knew that maybe it sounds good, maybe no, but I knew what I do, right? So anyway, so they wanted me to singer, and then we recorded an album when I was 18. I was learning a job, electronics, and I was recording an album at nighttime, so it was really 24/7 working.
Then you recorded the 3 albums with Tyrant Pace, right?
Exactly. The first album, Eye to Eye, was recorded when I learned a job, so it was a nighttime shift, and that's how we recorded the first album. And then the live activity started. We played support shows for Uriah Heep already, and those kind of things, and many festivals in Germany at that time when new wave of British heavy metal and German metal, of course, got so popular. Even us as a small band got a lot of people coming, like already 1,000 people coming to shows, So that was the start of it, and then you get more and more hungry, and you get addicted to adrenaline, because standing on stage, it's just
adrenaline thing. Yes,
exactly. And this is you get an adrenaline junkie, if you want to call it like that, and that's what happened. So it went further on and on and on. So, and everything else maybe it's another question, but I could tell you how it started with Kai and so forth.
Yeah.
So everything else is some kind of history. I said it so many times. So then, of course, time.
We don't need to talk about it, I think, because you recorded very important albums with the Kai, and as you said, it's history. Now let's talk about a little. How was the scene at the period in Germany? I mean, there were a lot of bands. Radio play heavy metal, or
No, heavy metal was always this kind of black sheep of the family music.
Forbidden.
You know, everybody tried to deny. This is loud. This is noise.
Yeah.
We can't
Same here. Same everywhere.
Listen to Schlager music. So, but of course, at the time, radio already started. They couldn't deny playing AC/DC and stuff like that. And also, of course, once in a while they played a Priest song as well, but not in a regular station. Then some rock station already started as well. So that was also the time when more radio stations came and somehow played their music, which they're into. But all in all, it's repetition also. So anyway, at that time, heavy metal music got somehow installed into society, if you want to call it like that, and got accepted also, although from parents and old people. But now the old people listen to metal, you know.
You know what? I noticed that many musicians seems to, I don't know, I don't want to say to avoid, but not to say that they are really metalhead. Seems like ashamed about this, but fortunately. I'm sure that you want to say that you are really a metalhead, because also Primal Fear is typical heavy metal music, and also the lyrics are all about metal. And why many are so try to find something to say, yes, I like heavy metal, but also I like blues, I like jazz, and
yeah, because I think we're open people. I also don't listen only to heavy metal. I mean, like I said, started with Schlager music, and that was my first love, you want to call it that. But anyway, you listen to so many things, not to get inspired only, maybe too, but because you like it. I mean, I love Phil Collins' music, for instance, Bon Jovi, which is not really heavy metal, but it was some the pop metal stuff, you know. So, and of course, classic music came later, because you somehow started to value how things could sound in a very dynamical way in the end, that is really inspiring and sounding great. Is also balanced for all the noise all the time. Yeah, so sometimes you listen to nothing at all, but sometimes you also listen to quiet stuff and to ballads and everything. So I think heavy metal musicians and fans are the most, I would say, open people to new stuff and other stuff as well. So we're really somehow, tolerance, if you want to call it like that.
It wasn't like this in the 80s, because I remember that at the,
that's true.
The period.
In the 80s was, In the 80s, it was pretty much like you couldn't say war or something.
Also a gang between thrashers and glamsters.
Competition,
So it was the same also in Germany, I guess, because And by the way, we were talking before about sporting, that you are a sporting guy. So you think it's important for be a good vocalist to take care of the body, to be in good shape, and of course to eat well, to be healthy.
For me, it is important, but not for good vocals. I mean, if you look at Freddie Mercury, for instance, I mean, you know, it doesn't matter if you have muscles or not. Sometimes they even say it's not good to have muscles because it's taking away resonance, which I can confirm. But you can balance it out somehow. So if you're putting yourself too much under stress with sport, it's also not really healthy and helping. But you know, I want to be a healthy guy. I love to go to the gym to have the balance, because otherwise
we can see that.
Thank you. Otherwise, maybe I would sit 24 hours in the studio a day.
Yes, sure.
And that's not somehow really helping.
So you think that this could help for be a good vocal, to have a good vocal, or
I don't think
or
so.
not?
No. That's different. I mean, vocal box is totally different. It's got nothing to do. It's also muscles in the end, but it's not like bodybuilding or whatever. like I said, it's even taken away something from the resonance you might need.
I see.
But in the end, if you got a big lung like me, it's always working. That's okay.
So you don't do any kind of practice for training, or yes? Because I guess that you are also a teacher, a coach.
Yes, and that's what I started. Also, when I started to be a self-employee, I said, why not giving your experience to other people? And then, of course, you also read a lot of material, what's going on with the vocal box, you know your instrument, you have what's going on in terms of bones and muscles and everything, and what you can do later to do the maintenance, like balancing out the muscles again. Like every sportsman needs somehow massage sometimes. There are exercises which are massaging your vocals in the end, and that's what I also teach to people, and also how to approach to somehow achieve more stamina, more support from the breathing system and so forth, singing in tune. There's so many parameters we have to take care as a vocalist. There's rhythm, there's the melody, there's the power, there's the dynamic we have in our vocals. So many things to talk about and to bring to the people as an influence to make them better, you know.
What do you think, that young people like to approach heavy metal or not nowadays?
I think it's getting better again. There was a time when I thought slightly it might not be easy anymore, but I think if you watching concerts, if you go to the concerts, if you see people in the concerts, they're getting younger again. It's great, you know. Parents bring their children and they like metal too. Yeah,
I think it's quite difficult to build up a career for a new band. What do you think? Because now
it is true. Yes,
there are too many
nowadays. Many bands, if they like I said, if they start with a demo. They have the material in the studio, and then they go to the rehearsing room. We did the other way around. We rehearsed. But coming back to your question, it's not so easy to sign a contract anymore because the labels suffering from all the streaming and download and what's going on, which made music so unvalued. That's my opinion. There's so much value when people create stuff, and it's not really paid anymore, as we know from the streaming services, no matter what it is. But in the end, record companies also see that, and that's the reason why they don't sign so many bands anymore. And that's the difficulties now for bands. We have the difficulty to compete against all the huge market which is going on. And the market is still very crowded because everybody still wants to do, which is a good thing on one hand, but on the other hand, it's not so easy anymore as a young band to sign. And that's the reason why so many bands produce on their own and also release their stuff on their own without having a record company.
And do you think that the social network can be useful for a new band? I suppose yes.
Yes and no. Yes. There's always good and bad sides of it, you know. So the bad side is that you got to release stuff for free to get some teasers, and then hope that they might downstream you on Spotify when you have an account or whatever. But to really earn money with music, which was never my goal at first place. As you know my history. I'm coming from doing it because I was always happy and fun in doing it, but never thought about I'm going to be a millionaire for this. That's not how I approach to make music.
I'm sure, yes.
But of course, you got to be balanced out somehow for what you do in the end. And we're in a happy position and in a lucky position to still do that, you know.
Yeah, because you have had and you still have a really good career. So get to the point to Primal Fear, because you have done so many records, but now there are some news about Primal Fear and something that happening inside the lineup.
Yeah, sometimes it is like it is. I mean, people are people. And it's not so easy. It's like a marriage sometimes. And when you have people which are not getting along with each other anymore, which I think is a pity, then there are decisions made. And they're accepted by some people and not accepted by other people. I'm talking about the band members. So I'm not mentioning any names. But, in the end, everybody made their mistakes, which I did in the past. And nowadays, there's so many things which are rumbling sometimes. And it couldn't be solved. So And so there was a position where we had to split with a guy in the band, and the other persons, they were loyal to the guy and left the band. So sometimes that's a really it's a very unlucky situation, which I was not really happy with, because I was touring with all the other guys the last 2 years in a good way. We're still, until the last show, I knew what's going on. Everybody knew what's happening, maybe, but not clear until it was written or spoken. And then, of course, I always said, hey guys, I would love to continue the way it is, but I'm also looking at it from the business perspective in the end. I have contracts. I have, of course, at first place, still in mind that this band on my arm and in my heart needs to continue. And it was only the possible way how we did, Matt and I did it in the end. And I want to make music with Magnus, because Magnus and Matt are really top songwriters and players. And
Matt Sinner, that you're partner from a long time.
Exactly. So anyway, that's the point. It was not lucky. I'm in between the situations, but I decided for Primal Fear, and I decided to make music in a very productive way, because that was also not always the case, because of several things which were going on. So, and now it's a cleaned up situation, which is still on one hand my heart is crying, and on the other hand I see the possibilities we have now. Sure. You know, every door, sometimes the door is closing and the other doors is just opening, and that's what's happened right now. We have our new members. Magnus was always in the band as a writer, and now his children grew up. That was the case why he couldn't never tour with us, because of his children, and his wife had a job and everything. She had a very important job, and she couldn't quit. And of course Magnus said, I'm loyal to my family, I stay with the kids. But now they're grown up, and he's able to tour again, which I'm really happy about, because Magnus always was a permanent member of the band.
Yeah, because Magnus also has a lot of commitments, because I know that he has many projects by his side, by musical project.
Hey, nowadays you never find, I mean, maybe yes, but you don't find so much musicians anymore who do only just one thing, right? So
That's
many people do many people do many projects out of the reason we were talking before. Because you have to survive. If you want to be a self-employed musician, you got to do several stuff, right? So that was never somehow. I never even thought about it 20 years ago or 30 years ago. I might have 3 or 4 bands. I have one band. I have Primal Fear, but I'm offering my voice for other bands, for instance, to sing in the studio. Sure. And I would never thought about that years ago, because singing is always a very exclusive stuff, which I thought you might not. It's really harming yourself if you spread your voice too much with so many projects. But in the end, it's always juggling around how you survive, you know, and how you keep your name with one band.
So the new lineup is, of course, you, Matt, Magnus, and then drums and other guitar.
Thalia.
Okay.
Bella Seca, and she's in Angus Mac 6 as well, and that's our first approach in terms of having a guitarist, and the drummer is Andre Hilgers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Nice to know. And that you have also another Italian connection, not only Frontiers Records, but also the guitar player.
Frontiers Records, we're not there anymore. We signed with Raining Phoenix. It's RPM music since years now. But the connection with Italy, I like Italy anyway. It's just a beautiful country. I was there when I was 9 years old in Rimini many times. And
I live near Rimini, so not far.
It's such, you know, you always, as a kid, when you got the first impressions of another country, I'm so excited, you know, and see and everything. And this always keeps here in my heart and in my soul as well. And I never forget about the good things. I mean, and I really like your country in terms of culture, music, you know, food.
Absolutely.
People being positive, crazy. That's what I like about Italians, really.
for my experience, because I play and I've been touring also in Germany, Germany is the best place to play heavy metal in Europe, but maybe all over the world, because also many American musicians told me so. So we've got a huge live scene here going on still, and that's a good thing. Yes, I mean there's some clubs are closing because of, as we know, what happened with the pandemic and so forth. Yes,
but hey, in the end, let's look ahead and all survive in the end.
Yeah.
That's what we always do. We are somehow warriors and warriors of
metal warriors. Yes.
Yeah.
I know that you are very busy, so I will keep you only a few minutes again to ask you about the things that probably all people want to know. What happened with Judas Priest, with the auditions?
That's something everybody should know by now, because I'm telling it also.
Who can tell? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yes. Hey, so many years ago that everybody's so happy now to have the stuff they have. And Priest, Halford belongs to Priest. That was totally clear that he needs to go back to the band. And Halford is Judas Priest in the end. And Tim, I got to know him so many years already. He's such a nice guy, such a fantastic, phenomenal vocalist. He deserved the job to do this. And I was doing my application back in the years when nobody knew about everybody. So I didn't know Tim, he didn't know me, whatever. I did my application. I was on the short list. The band decided. They saw and heard Tim and decided for him. It was a bummer for me, of course. But hey, after all those years, where everybody knows what happened. I mean, there was a band called Primal Fear, and that's also a great thing, So everybody's happy.
Yeah, you have done a big career by yourself with your band, with your partner in crime, Matt Sinner, and so everything went good, went well.
Exactly.
We are
everything was
absolutely happy to have you here in our channel. So I wish you all the best for the next project. I'm sure that you will be very busy. And are you preparing something, new album or touring or rehearsing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of this.
It's exactly what we do. I just came home last week from the last 2 weeks ago from the last show we did at summer festivals, and now it's all about I do this mixing now for another band, but it's all about recording new songs and starting to offer things and songs to be discussed, which could be in the album. We never had so many songs like we have now. It's over 20 songs, which I have to sing first, and then we decide.
So thank you very much. I wish you that you can be in Italy pretty soon. Not only on vacation, but to play with your band. It would be a great pleasure to have you here once again.
We would love to come. Yes, of course.
Absolutely. Many metalheads are waiting for you, waiting for Primal Fear band. That I know that is very powerful alive, but I never had the chance to see you, so it would be great. So
thank you,
thank you for a nice conversation. See you next time.
Yeah, same here.
Ciao.
Enjoy your afternoon.